Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we will see how to deploy the application using Argo CD. Okay, so in Argo CD, there are two ways we can deploy the application. For example, we can use the UI method, and then there is a CLI. So we can use two methods to deploy the application into our Kubernetes cluster through the Argo CD continuous deployment. So in the UI, let's say now we are going to deploy the application using the UI method, and here there are different ways of deployment. For example, we can deploy the application into the Kubernetes cluster using the YAML manifest. Okay, using the YAML manifest, we can deploy the application, and there is a Helm charts. So using Helm charts, also we can deploy the application into the Kubernetes cluster, and there is a customize also. So now first let us see how we can deploy using the manifest. So basically in the manifest there will be a deployment.yaml manifest, and there will be a service.yaml manifest. Okay, and when it comes to Helm charts, there will be charts.yaml and values.yaml and templates. Okay, inside the template there will be again deployment.yaml, and there will be a service.yaml. Okay, so now first we'll see how we can deploy using the deployment.yaml and service.yaml, so using the manifest file. Okay, so in the previous video we have seen already how to install the Argo CD, and I have already logged into the Argo CD UI, which is running on my Kubernetes cluster. So I'm using the K3s cluster. So I'll be deploying this application into the K3s cluster. So I'll be using the sample project that I have forked from the Argo CD project. So if you just search for GitHub Argo CD examples, you can get this repos. So from here you can use a guest book, and there is a Helm charts for guest book also. So I just forked this into my repository. So here, as you can see, this guest book contains two manifests. One is the deployment.yaml, and the other one is the service.yaml. Okay, now using this manifest, we are going to deploy into our K3s cluster through the Argo CD UI. Okay, so once you logged into the UI, here currently we don't have any application running. So now I'm going to create application. Okay, so here we have to provide the application name and the project name. So there is a default project if you want use, or if you want you can create a new project. And here there is a sync policy, whether you want to deploy the application automatically or manually. So if we select automatic, then the application will be deployed automatically into the cluster. And here enable auto sync, and there are multiple options here that we will see it later. Okay, let me give the application name. guestbook app, and I'll be using the default project name, and sync policy I'll make it automatic, and then here there are source and destination. So under the source we have to specify the repository URL. Okay, so this will be the Git, and I'm going to give this repository URL. Okay, and here I'll be using the path, that is guestbook. Okay, and this is the destination where I want to deploy this application. So I'm going to use the default, the Kubernetes cluster URL, and namespace. I'm going to create a new namespace. I'm not going to use the default one. So let me give guestbook. This is the namespace I want to create for this application. Okay, and for the remaining, I will just leave it default, and I'm going to click on create. Okay, so since I have created as a automatic, it is trying to sync automatically. So let's wait for this to be deployed. Okay, as you can see here, one or more objects failed to apply. Reason namespace guestbook not found, retrying. So we have mentioned new namespace which is not available. For example, if I go here, kubectl get namespace. Here I don't have the namespace called guestbook, so I need to create that. So to handle that automatically, let me go here. Okay, let me edit this. Here, the sync option, there is an option to auto create namespace. So if the namespace not exist, then it will create the namespace automatically. Okay, let me save this change. Okay, so the sync has failed due to some issues. Let me check what is the issue. Resource not found in cluster. Okay, so we are seeing some issue due to that resource not found. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new application and use the Argo CD project directly. So let me create a new app, and here I'll give the application name app guestbook, and project name default, and automatic sync policy. And here for sync option, I'm going to enable auto create namespace, so that if the namespace not exist, it will create a new one. And I'm going to give this repository URL. Okay, and the path will be guestbook, and in the destination for the cluster URL, select the Kubernetes default service, and namespace I'm going to give guestbook app. Okay, and leave the remaining default, and I'm going to click on create. Okay, so now you can see this is sync okay, and this is synced, and the health is healthy. Okay, here if you see, we can see these pods are already running. Let me go to the cluster. kubectl get namespace. Now we can see there is a guestbook app namespace created 29 seconds ago. And if I list the pod, kubectl get pod under guestbook app namespace. Here there is one pod running already. Okay. So now we are able to deploy the application using the UI successfully, and the app also synced here. Okay, so this is the app-guestbook, and now if I go to my cluster, kubectl get pod namespace app-guestbook. Okay, this is guestbook-app. This is the namespace. Okay, now I have this pod running. Now let me delete this application, and you can select the propagation, foreground, background, non-cascading. I'll go with the default foreground. Okay, once this app is deleted, now if I go back and check here, okay, the pods also will get deleted automatically. kubectl get namespace, only the namespace will be there. Okay, similarly there is one more application, and if you delete it, this will be deleted automatically. Okay, so currently in this application, I have two parts running. If you go to the cluster, you can see under the guestbook, there are two parts running. And now let me increase this replica count from the deployment.yaml. Let me make it to 3 replicas. Okay, and now if you come here, okay, now we can see that Argo CD pull that changes from the Git, which is the single source of truth. And based on that, here there are 3 replicas, and the desired state should be 3. And if you check the pod here again, you can see that there are 3 pods running here. Okay, so now we have seen how to deploy the application into our Kubernetes cluster using the Argo CD UI, and we are able to successfully deploy the application, and we have also increased the replica count, and we are able to get that pod deployed automatically. Okay, so that's all in this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.